A lot of traders have absolutely no idea how to analyze a backtest properly, which hurt them in the live markets. So they look at profit, max drawdown, maybe even strike rate, but professionals are looking at different figures. And today I'm going to show you what those are. And I created a free tool for you to use that helps you analyze any backtest report in proper detail. And we're going to dive into it. So let's jump in it straight away. All right, before we can analyze anything, we need to have a backtest report. So what I did was take a template algorithm and backtested it for you guys. And I backtested this on dollar yen and pound yen. And I'm gonna show you the results and how to analyze this as a professional. First of all, here we are in MetaTrader. You can see I have a backtest report here and I ran these settings. So pound yen, I uploaded the template strategy. You can download it below if you don't have it yet. After this backtest is finished, what you can do is go to the backtest tab in MetaTrader 5 and then right click and click on export, and you export the HTML file. Why do I do that? Well, you have a lot of data here in MetaTrader, but not everything you want, and some things are calculated a little bit odd, and therefore I use my own tool, and you can use that tool as well for free. We have two settings here, single report, so I can just choose, okay, I'm gonna upload one report, but I can also make a portfolio, and I will show that also in this video how to do that. So I can upload both reports, merge them together, see if they work well together of multiple strategies or the same strategy on different pairs. For now, let me quickly upload the first report. So it's now analyzing the backtest, and it will give us a nice screenshot of the stats, but then also the PDF. And we're gonna dive into the PDF, and there you go. The PDF is right here. And let's open this up. So this is the first page, and what you can see is we have dollar yen is what we tested this strategy on. We have the H1, so on the 1 hour time frame I ran this strategy, and a short backtest 2020 until 26. Then you might think strike rate is below 50%, not good, but you can also see the equity chart is going up well. It's just a template strategy, right? So it's not crazy. And we have here a monthly table beautifully telling us, okay, what was the monthly return? So every month, what is the account balance? What did we make? How much percentage is that? And that is how that is calculated. Then here to the right, the most important thing is total trades. That's the first thing before I analyze anything. Of course, you need to have a proper sample size, so a proper amount of trades. And that is how often did your pattern or your strategy occur in the markets in the past. So over this time period of, let's say, 6 years, we have 450 trades taken. Okay, that's super important because some people just backtest 30 days, have a sample of 10 trades, and that's like gambling. That's like flipping a coin, and that is not an amount you want. You need to have a significant amount of times that a pattern happened in the past to use it in the future. Okay, the more trades you have, the stronger your edge in general is, but more on that later. Then net profit. Profit I don't really care much about because it all depends on how much risk I trade with. So if I have a 100K account and my risk is 1K, then it's a 1% risk per trade. If my stop loss is hit, I lose 1,000 euros or dollars. And if my target is reached, maybe I make 1% or 2%. And therefore it's all relative. If I reduce my risk per trade, my net profit goes down. If I increase the risk per trade, it goes up. So I don't really look at it that much. Of course, it needs to make profit, but if the other stats are good, you will be profitable. Then we have here the average return, which is really nice to see. It's just a quick calculation. And by the way, if you have some terms you don't understand and you need a little bit more guidance on, you can of course Google them, but the best thing is to go to docs.profectus.ai. Maybe I'll link it below, and otherwise you can easily find it in our help center. And then everything is explained how we calculate it. And if you miss something, feel free to text us. We of course build our platform around you and your feedback. Then the most important thing for me is the MAR ratio. It's mostly important in portfolios for me, but also on an individual report, it's nice to see a nice value. What is nice? Above 1, above 2 is very, very rare. So between 1 and 2 is already getting to a good strategy, especially if you have it on one particular report. But what does it do? What is it? How to calculate it, and why do I find it important? The reason I find it important is because this figure tells you what is the max drawdown measured in your whole backtest. So you can see that here to the left at the start of this backtest, we have a deep drawdown. How deep? Almost 16%. Well, okay, but that is like the main risk of this strategy. We have lost 16%. I need to accept that we might float in deep drawdown, or maybe minus 10%, and that is the strategy is still working, but it's in a bad period, okay? By the way, this is just a template strategy, no financial advice or anything like that, and definitely not a crazy good strategy. What does the MAR ratio then tell me? Well, it looks at the average return we make, this 10%, this 11%, and then I want this to be double, or at least a lot more than this equity drawdown. Because if I make 10% a year, but my max drawdown is, let's say, 15 or 16%, if I am in a drawdown of 10%, it will take me a year to get out of it, you know? So therefore, I find it super important to have a good ratio here, that I make double or something like that every year compared to this max drawdown. So it's like a sort of a recovery rate in a different way. That is for me one of the most important rules I have in my trading, and it's treating me well because I'm strict about what to turn on and what is a good strategy. Then equity drawdown in general, that is also used for the second biggest rule I have, and that is, when do you turn off a strategy? When is a strategy telling you it doesn't really work anymore? When is your edge disappearing? I trade FX, so in general strategies work way longer than on stocks, but that is because stock markets are based on a company, and a company changes, can get more volatile and less volatile based on how popular the company is and a lot of other reasons. FX is still, it's just euros, dollars, and they are the same, and everything is already in the data. Back in the Roman Empire, we also had money, we also had inflation, right? So things are a little bit more stable in the behavior, at least that is what I figured out the last 10 years. And therefore, it is slightly less important to have like a fixed rule on when does the strategy not work, but I'm an algo trader. I don't want to have emotional decisions about let's stick to this strategy that is losing money or something like that. So my rule is take your max equity drawdown, so 15.7 here, multiply that by 1.1, so then you have more or less 17%. If we breach in the live markets 17%, then I'm quitting the strategy. Yeah, the algorithm is giving me new data outside of my backtest, and then I just turn it off. Luckily, it only happens maybe in a few years, and then already, if you have good other figures, like a good MAR, you already are in profits, and you just lose a little bit of your profits. You hit max drawdown, turn off the strategy, or scale down the account to just see how it develops later on in live markets. That is my main rule. That's the key rule. And because we develop so quickly with Profectus AI, we build hundreds or maybe even thousands of algorithms in our lifetime. If you really build, you can do way more. Then in that big sample, in all those strategies, you probably have a new strategy to replace this one, right? And that is why we keep developing. And once in a few years, you need to change your portfolio. Then we have Sharpe ratio, best day, worst day. I'll skip them for now. Worst day is nice to know if you are trading prop firms. Then FTMO phase 1, I'm not affiliated with them, but it's just a common term and something you guys want to analyze as well. And me being funded with them is maybe nice. I cannot open more accounts, but for new people, knowing how this strategy, how likely it is to pass a challenge, at least the first phase. We can also scroll down and you have proper analysis there you can find. But how does this work? It looks at, do we pass the challenge, like the 10%, without blowing up? And then it is measured in this overall time period as if you trade it every day. So you start on a random day and then it calculates, okay, would I have passed it or not? And if you, for instance, turn it on here in March in 2020, then you have a 10% drawdown, so you are losing. So that's the 9%, and 91% of the times you pass it with this strategy. Just takes a long time because yeah, it's just one pair and one strategy. We have max days underwater. This is like how long do you not make money. With this strategy it's quite long, so not really interesting. And only long trades with this strategy, by the way, therefore long is 4, 5, 6. What do we have here? We have time-based analytics. You can see what you make per hour, per weekday. So this strategy is just Monday and Tuesday you trade. You can easily see only Monday is profitable. And you have here P&L by month of year. January is not the greatest. And you can also see yearly stats, sessions. Of course, all is from longs. Then you have a little bit more of the monthly return table in a little bit more detail. And then you'll have here Monte Carlo simulation. If you're more advanced, you know what this means. It's like shoveling. You take all your trades, shovel them around, and then you can see, okay, if we have a different distribution, I'm just explaining this in really easy terms, but you shovel the trades around and you can see, okay, how can this strategy also play out, okay? That's how I often see Monte Carlo. There are big drawbacks of Monte Carlo, in my opinion. In a lot of simulations don't make sense in certain portfolios you run, because if you just shovel around your trades, let's say I traded dollar yen and pound yen breakout strategy, dollar yen breaks out to the upside, pound yen will break out to the upside as well. So if I have a lot of trades, shuffle them around in your Monte Carlo, you might have like trades that you go long and short, dollar yen and pound yen on the same day, which is quite rare if you trade daily breakouts, for instance. So there are a lot of drawbacks, but it's definitely good to take a look at it because it tells you also if you over optimize the strategy. And then this cool one we have here, what are the odds to pass your first phase in your second phase, and combined you can see here what was the biggest problem of this strategy, and that is explained well here. And then you have here some other prop firms, and you can see a few trades, the last and the first trades in your backtest if you want to look at them quickly. Let's now build a portfolio. So to build a portfolio, we go to portfolio and I'm gonna upload both reports. Let me do that right now. All right, it is now uploading 2 reports and they are merged together and as if you were trading them at once, right? So if you have a starting balance of a certain amount, that is where both reports start, and then it just takes both trades. You can open here the full report. So we have a few charts here. This is quite nice. We have the systems separately and then together, and it looks quite good. You can compare this with your individual backtests as well to see, okay, does it improve my results or not? In this case, we can already see the equity drawdown is 24%. So yes, we make a lot more money, but our drawdown is also deeper. So does it truly improve the strategy? That's the question you'll have here. The MAR ratio is quite good, but I don't know from my head what they were individually, both of them. So you need to analyze that, and then you can make an argument like, okay, it's improving my strategy or not. You can see every year is profitable. We didn't have that in a prior single report we analyzed. We have 900 trades, which is way better. Strategy is the same, settings are the same. So it's truly that we have just the same pattern on 2 currencies happen a lot more. So that's more significant. You have a profit factor of 1.37. Profit factor is important if I start backtesting and my strategy has a 1.0. It's not really a good strategy. It's not really something I'm looking at. But if you have like this, a profit factor of 1.3 or 2, it becomes to be something, right? This is just a simple template, no management. You can add trade management and all the blocks in Profectus to improve your algorithm. And then you can get a good profit factor in the markets, and then it is more interesting to run it. But profit factor needs to be good, but also this ratio, right? And the amount of trades, super important. Then you scroll down, you have a little bit of correlation analysis, Monte Carlo, and also if you run this as a portfolio on the same account, that is of course possible, you can see it. Strike rate is quite good. So this is how you create a portfolio. And this is in a nutshell everything you need to know. What I look at and what you should look at. So I do a backtest normally from 2015 until 2024. So I have 1-2 years of data to play around with later on when I'm done. So I can also backtest on that when slightly before I go live to really confirm extra, okay, my backtest is not over optimized. You have a lot of different rules and methods to make sure you don't over optimize it. But besides that, if we just keep it at as analyzing a backtest, this is what I do. You now know my rule when I turn off a system, and you know my rule what I really want to see in a system. And I think that brings a lot of value. Go use the tool and let me know what you miss, what you want, or if it's great. Thank you for watching, and I see you in the next one.